The church is the hope of the world. But too often nowadays, the light of the church is dimmed by things like culture wars, infighting, division, and even abusive behavior from many who claim the name of Christ. But it isn't meant to be this way. Join us as we turn to the book of Acts and find what happens when regular people are astonished because of the Spirit of the risen Jesus. His power is still available to us today, and it's a power that can turn our world upside down. Last week in chapter 9 of Acts, we learned the story of Saul's conversion. Today in chapter 10, we'll see what happens when Peter receives a heavenly vision. But there's some important stuff that happens in between. As the church continues to thrive and grow in number, Peter hits the road. While in Lydda, he meets a man named Aeneas who has been paralyzed and bedridden for 8 years. Peter promptly heals him in Jesus' name, telling him to stop just lying there. Aeneas stands and rolls up his mat, the townspeople are astonished, and everybody turns to the Lord. Meanwhile, in nearby Joppa, a disciple named Tabitha, that's Dorcas in Greek, becomes sick and dies. Tabitha/Dorcas is much loved for her selfless acts of service to the poor. When the believers in Joppa hear that Peter is nearby and miracles are afoot, they send for him at once. Peter hightails it to Joppa, where he's met by many grieving widows who show him all the clothing Tabitha, aka Dorcas, has made for them. Peter sends them all away, kneels in prayer beside the lifeless body of Tabitha, also called Dorcas, then tells her, "You guessed it, stop just lying there." Immediately, she opens her eyes, and Peter helps her to her feet, presenting her fit as a fiddle to the believers, especially those widows she had loved, served, and clothed so well. Understandably, the story spreads like wildfire across Joppa, and many more people come to faith in Jesus. And that, in a nutshell, is the story between the story.